Hey guys, and welcome to The Broken Sword.
We have news today.
I'm so excited. So, if you guys haven't already seen, there has been an announcement for a new standalone movie, but not just any movie, an anime.
I know, this is quite big because a lot of people don't want an anime for anything Lord of the Rings, so...
No, a lot of people don't. But, having said that, this is something that we've said about for a long time. We've personally said that we feel the Silmarillion stories lend themselves very well to anime. That's not what this one is. This one is much later than most of the stories in the Silmarillion, and I personally think that it does lend itself well to anime.
Yeah, definitely.
So, before we ramble on too much, this film is called The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim.
Ooh.
Now, personally, for me, the Rohirrim and Rohan in general is one of my favorite aspects about The Lord of the Rings in general. The Rohirrim are super, super cool in my opinion.
Yep.
But what's even cooler about this is being made by New Line Cinema.
Yes.
Which means it is set within the same universe and timeline as the Peter Jackson trilogy. So everything that we see in it, all the visuals, all the places, they should look 100% familiar to us because they are based in the same universe that we are, familiar with. That's exciting to me.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the fact they're kind of taking it as I say a prequel, even though it's not like a prequel. They're doing it to set up Helm's Deep, which is just amazing.
Yes.
So, should we get on to the official announcement?
Yes, we'll just read straight what's been said to give you, all of the information that's currently available. So, the Lord of the Rings saga will continue with a standalone anime film, The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers Animation are teaming up for the new feature, which explores the untold story behind the fortress of Helm's Deep. The film will also be a companion piece to New Line's The Lord of the Rings trilogy, from director Peter Jackson. Continue, James.
The Lord of the Rings trilogy is a monumental achievement in cinema, a sweeping, truly epic saga that won oodles of Oscars and broke the box office bank. It also resulted in the Hobbit trilogy, but let's not talk about that. Okay?
Which article are we reading?
Instead, let's talk about The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, a new standalone anime feature coming from New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers Animation.
The film will be helmed by director Kenji Kamiyama, who directed Blade Runner, Black Lotus, and Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, and will plunge fans into a legendary battle that helped shape Middle-earth and set the stage for for the epic adventure brought to life in the Lord of the Rings film trilogy. Sorry. Oh, typical. Where are we? The story explores and expands the untold story behind the Fortress of Helm's Deep, delving into the life and blood-soaked times of one of Middle-earth's most legendary figures, the mighty King of Rohan, Helm Hammerhand.
Yes!
When I read that for the first time, I can't even express my excitement.
Oh, one more bit. All of us at New Line feel a deep affinity for the extraordinary world J.R. Tolkien created.
Same.
So the opportunity to dive back into Middle-earth with the team at Warner Brothers Animation is a dream come true, said Caroline Blackwood, Chief Operating Officer at Warner Brothers Pictures Group, and Richard Brenner, President and Chief Creative Officer, New Line Cinema, in a joint statement. Fans know Helm's Deep as the stage for one of the greatest battles ever put to film, and with many of the same creative visionaries involved and the brilliant Kenji Kamiyama at the helm, we couldn't be more excited to deliver a fresh vision of its history that will invite global audiences to experience the rich, complex saga of Middle-earth in a thrilling new way.
See what they did there? With Kenji Kamiyama at the helm. Clever. Very clever. Now, those of you that don't know, the story focused around Helm Hammerhand. Obviously, Helm's Deep was named after Helm. It was originally the Fortress of Suthburg. It's a very cool story. Mm-hmm. You may be familiar with it from the Shadow of War video game, where there was an adaptation of the character's story. They kind of followed his origins and the kingly part of his story, but what happened to him after that is not the case in canon. So getting to explore his actual story is awesome because he is this larger-than-life king that has these legends about him striking down his enemies to death with a single blow.
Yeah, I mean, his name is Hammerhand. Which is a nickname,
by the way. which he got from literally striking people to death.
His name was
with a
actually
single-
Joe Blocks.
with a single punch. So this goes back to what we said at the start of the video. As a character, Helm lends himself well to anime
Yes.
over live action because of this larger than life legend that he has become. Interestingly enough, and coincidentally,
Hey.
we did actually put out a video on Helm Hammerhand earlier today. So if you want to know more about his character and maybe get an idea about what this anime will be about, then you can check that out. I think it's interesting maybe to watch that, and when the film comes out, we can compare how much they change. So if you haven't read the section in the book that covers very briefly his life, then watching that video will give you a good understanding, and it's fun to compare the lore to the adaptations.
Yeah, like every time they adapt, like with the show at the moment and stuff, we're gonna have that wondering moment of, are they gonna alter anything? Obviously, we know from like the Hobbit movies, they altered a fair bit or added fair bits that were not included originally. So will they be doing that with Helm Hammerhand? Are they gonna add to his story, or will there be enough there
They
to do what they
definitely
want to do?
They have to add in some way because we pretty much have a paragraph about Helm. But I think the story lends itself well to an arc of a film, for sure. For like a good hour and a half, 2 hour piece. All they're going to have to add is the little in-between scenes. Obviously, they have to add all the dialogue because none of that's there. There's no lines that they can take from the book, really. So, yeah, they're going to have to add a lot. But as long as they stick with the structure of his arc, his story, I will be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's safe to say, as a subject, I mean, I get why they put the Lord of the Rings in the title, but at the same time,
It's nothing to do with the Lord of the Rings.
yeah, it's obviously just to get the attention of people. Yeah, that a little bit weird. I like the War of the Rohirrim, like,
Yeah.
obviously, here with the Brohirrim. We love this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very, very keen on that part of it. But what about the director, Kenji Kamiyama? I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know anything. I haven't seen Blade Runner Black Lotus or Ghost in the Shell standalone
No,
complex. I'm assuming they're animes.
Yeah, they're animes, and I think, which I may be wrong, I think they're series, not movies.
Oh, really?
So it's not. I don't think it's the Ghost in the Shell movie. I think it's a series.
Oh, is it?
I think. I don't know. I'll
could
put
be
a
wrong.
correction on the screen here if I am completely wrong with that. But I did have a quick look at him when this was announced last night. So, yeah, I mean, he doesn't look like he's done hundreds of things, but there's no reason to think he would do anything bad. There was no negativity around his name, from what I could tell. But I will admit he is a new name too.
Yeah, obviously the director plays a big part, but when it comes down to anime and animation in general, it's very much a team effort. And as long as they get the right team on board, it's going to go well. And Kenji, I don't know this, I'm assuming, this is very much an assumption, Kenji Kamiyama sounds very Japanese to me. And obviously anime has its origin in Japan, so
Yeah.
it makes sense. I'm personally a huge anime fan, so is James.
Yeah.
If you don't know, we do run another channel, History of Dragon Ball, which obviously is all focused around
Yes.
the anime Dragon Ball. So this is super exciting for me. Is that thunder?
No, it was hell. I hope you could hear that. Otherwise, that would be
Yeah.
weird.
Speaking of Helm, though, like,
Yeah.
one thing that's so important to me for this is normally we'd say, well, they have to cast it right, which they do in terms of voice, but the design for Helm, it needs to be right because,
Yes.
like we said about this larger-than-life persona, something they did get right in the Shadow of War game was his design. I think
Yes.
Helm looked awesome. He looked intimidating. He looked believable as
Yeah.
this huge, scary king that if he punched you, you're gonna
Yeah.
die. So, as long as they get the design right,
Yeah.
that's-
I mean,
that's
the
important.
whole realm of Rohan has been designed vaguely off Viking design or words and
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, you know, for example, a Rolo from Vikings.
Yeah.
If you've seen Vikings, that kind of idea is what I can imagine they're going to go towards. Obviously, the more exaggerated
Yeah,
style,
just
slightly.
essentially a big berserker. Yeah. Type Viking. Yeah, the legend of the berserker. Not an Uruk-hai berserker, but a Viking one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We wanted to get our thoughts
Yes.
out there as soon as possible, and if you guys,
I will say there should be one more little thing we could discuss.
yes,
We touched on it at the beginning, but the idea of how people are quite strongly opinionated on animated Tolkien content. Because I've already seen a lot of people putting up about this is a terrible idea. And it's a cash grab.
I can understand why people are getting to that, but also the way I look at it is the more content we can get, the happier I am. If we can get, it's like when the War of the Ring mobile game was announced. That everyone complained about that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean we're not getting a console game or a PC game or anything like that. So having all these things on all these different platforms is a good thing. We're getting a live action Amazon show. We're getting a feature anime. We're probably going to get another live action film at some point. Who knows? We're getting mobile games. We're probably getting more console games. Like, this is all good stuff. If you don't like anime, you don't have to watch it.
No.
It doesn't matter. This is not, Tolkien is not releasing this. This is not technically canon. It's canon within Peter Jackson's universe.
Yes.
If you're a fan of that, I suggest watching it. But animation is not for everyone.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, when I've seen a lot of these comments and stuff, I think people forget that the first time we saw Lord of the Rings on screen was a cartoon.
Yeah.
And The Hobbit. Was it Ralph Bakshi?
Yeah.
I am so sorry for names. Yeah, but his vision, it was a cartoon, and a lot of people learnt about it and fell in love with it because of that. Yet there seems to also be a hate behind it, and I just don't quite understand that.
And a lot of the visuals that we know and recognize today from the Peter Jackson stuff and from like Alan Lee and John Howe and all these amazing designers, their inspiration came from these original animated movies.
Yeah.
So for all we know, this War of the Rohirrim could inspire the next generation of phenomenal concept artists. Yeah. So I for one literally could not be more excited.
Yes, I mean, like I said before, on the old channel, we said a lot about how we think this is definitely a road they could have gone down, and it would be a good road to go down for the whole Tolkien universe. Yeah. And I'm really glad they are doing it. But I think the thing to remember, like with the show, like you said, is you don't have to watch it if you really don't want to. If you don't like anime, you don't have to watch it.
It shouldn't affect your love for the content.
Yeah, but I feel like this is a good story, a good place to start. I've got high hopes.
Like I said in the video on Helm Hammerhand, this is a character that I've said multiple times is not only one of the coolest characters that Tolkien ever wrote about, despite the limited information we have on him, but he lends himself well to a standalone story, whether that be through a film, an anime, or a series. I'm glad they've picked this.
Yes.
If they had come to me and said, what would be a cool story we could do for an anime? I would have either said something from the Silmarillion, or I would have gone straight to this. So maybe they watched the video on Helm on our channel.
Maybe we inspired them.
We'll tell ourselves that.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, let us know in the comments down below what you think of this film, what you think of this announcement. Would you have preferred a live action? Or would you have preferred a different story? Are you happy with anime? Would you have preferred something from the Silmarillion? Let's just discuss.
I will ask you that. Would you prefer a non-anime version of Helm Hammerhand?
I would have preferred it live action, yes.
Yeah.
But we're getting the show, which is live action, so I like a little bit of diversity of content.
Yes.
It's a good thing to me. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let us know, guys. Let's discuss in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time on The Broken Sword.
Bye, guys.
Bye.